What's up? What's up?
What's
testing,
up, man?
Testing. All right. You nervous?
You know what?
Oh, you know what? I need to put that. Just
Just
put
put
it
it over
floor.
here to the side. Okay.
Just put it on the floor. Yeah. It's expensive.
Yeah,
candy.
you know what? To be honest, I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before. I'm not a.
We're just gonna have a conversation, man. We're just
All
gonna
right.
have a conversation. All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sweet Advice Podcast. This is a sports edition. Mostly, we're gonna be talking about boxing. Today we have Ramon Rodriguez. What's up, Raymond?
What's up, man? How you doing?
So Raymond is he's a coworker, and I met him 2 years ago?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it turns out that Raymond has almost the same love of boxing as I do. I probably have just a slightly bit more
Yeah.
because I'm a little older.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
guess.
Go ahead and tell yourself that.
So Raymond, go ahead and tell us. Why is it that you love boxing so much?
Well, you know what? I don't know, man. I just like it. It all started off when I was a little kid, to be honest.
Right.
When I was little, me and my parents, we have a house. Well, my parents, they have a house, and it's right behind my grandparents' house. And the one who got us all into it was actually my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather on my mom's side. And I remember going over to their house like a lot. Both my parents and my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, they're like big time into coffee, man. They like to have coffee.
Coffee?
But it's weird, man, because they actually have coffee, but you know
with pan dulce?
with pan
the
dulce.
Mexican
Exactly,
sweet bread?
man.
Mhm.
Yes. But they actually they like having coffee, but in the afternoon. It's weird. Like, you know how like a lot of people, they get up and...
It's like in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. They go to Starbucks, they go to the gas station, they get a cup of coffee and they get their day going, right?
Right.
Well, my grandparents and my parents, it's weird because they actually like get together at night and they
Right.
have a cup of coffee with pan dulce.
That's like a Mexican cultural thing, right?
Is that it?
I think so.
Is
Yeah,
that how your family is as well?
Yeah,
or?
my dad and my mom, they're like, for some reason, my dad's always telling my mom, to make him a coffee. Like, it's like 8, 9 o'clock
Exactly.
at night. And then he'll be like, hey, do we have any sweet bread or something? And it's just one of those things.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it's like it has no effect on them. Because, like, for example, for myself, like, whenever I get coffee, it's in the morning because...
Right, to wake up.
Exactly, because, like, if I'm kind of groggy, I wake up early. Like, usually I take a cup of coffee. Like, right now I'm drinking some coffee. And it kind of it makes my day a lot easier. Like, it gets me going, like, it gives me, like, a little kick. But for them, it's just, like, something that they just do, like because they like it. And it's weird.
It's like a social thing.
Exactly, man.
Right.
They do it at night. And, anyways, like, I remember going over to my grandparents' house all the time. And a lot of the times what would end up happening is my mom, my grandma, my tias, my sisters and everything, they would get together in the kitchen and they would have conversations. They would like have like the little conversations and everything. And me as a little kid, man, I only have sisters. I don't have brothers. Yeah, so
I have 4 brothers, man. There's 5 of us.
Oh, okay. Are you
Survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest?
Especially on pizza night.
Are you one of the younger one? Are you the youngest
second
one?
oldest.
Are you the second oldest?
Yeah, my oldest brother is I'm 33. He's almost 40. He's 5 years older than me, so
okay.
he's 37, 38.
Okay.
I can't do math. But he's a police officer in Houston. Right
Okay,
now.
so like you're like one of the weirdo brothers, right? Like
yeah, pretty much.
One of the middle ones.
I was the outcast for a long time.
Okay.
Because my oldest brother, it was me, and then my other brother for a very long time before the other 2 came along. So I was always the middle child, the black sheep.
Okay, yeah, that's what they always say, right? Like the middle child is always like the weird one. Well, anyways, yeah, I only have sisters, man, and they would have their conversations in the kitchen with my grandma, my mom over coffee and stuff. But every time I would go to my grandparents' house, like every single time, well, at least on the weekends, my grandpa was always in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go over to the living room, and sure enough, he was always watching boxing. But you see, like, it was interesting because my grandpa, like, he's like straight up from like Mexico, man. Like he's not from the USA. Like he doesn't know English. And he never had Showtime. He never had HBO. He never had ESPN, none of that stuff. So he was always watching boxing, but it was always off of these like like Mexican networks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you live in El Paso,
Azteca.
right? Exactly, yeah. So I mean, is that like also like something that goes on in? Because I know you're from Houston, right?
Right. So yeah, they have Univision, Telemundo.
But you see, those are American.
Azteca. They
Well,
have the Azteca one.
Well, what Azteca do they have? Is it Azteca America or is it
Shoot,
Azteca?
I can't even tell you, man.
Okay, well,
But it's probably not one from here, because you can get
Mexican channels.
Mexican channels with your antenna, right?
Yeah, exactly.
From
Like
Juarez.
yeah, exactly.
That's
man.
crazy.
Yeah, so that's what my grandpa would watch. He would watch like Televisa, TV Azteca. So he was always like watching boxing. And in Mexican culture, man, boxing is like it's a big thing. So whenever I would go to their house, I would go over to the living room, and he would always be watching boxing. Now, as a little kid, honestly, boxing wasn't really interesting to me. Like when I was like 4, 5, 6, it was like, oh well, whatever, you know. It was mostly about like watching my grandpa watch boxing. Like it's crazy. It sounds dumb, right? Yeah, like okay, like this guy watches his grandpa watch boxing.
It's more interesting to watch the old guy always watching boxing. Like, why is he always watching boxing?
Yeah, and it's not even because of that, man. It's because like my grandpa was like super passionate. Like he was so into it, man. Like it was crazy, man. Like he wouldn't sit down. Like he would sit down like for like a couple of seconds, and then he would get back up, and like he would start pacing back and forth. And like honestly, like whenever the boxing match was getting heated, like he would get up, throw his right hook, throw his left hook, and I'm not like this is exactly
He was like into it.
Yeah,
Like
he was
actually fighting.
Yeah, exactly,
Wow,
man. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Me. That's me, man. That's me on fight night.
Exactly. Well, you know what I'm talking about, man. So yeah, like he would like get up, and like he would like just stand up, and like he would throw like his left hook, his right hook, his left hook, and like he would just pace back and forth. And honestly, like when I was little, like it wasn't even about watching like the boxing match. It was more about like watching him and his antics, like while he was watching boxing. And like this entire time, man, like he wouldn't even notice that I was watching him watch boxing. And like my entire family knew, like, oh look, your grandpa right there. Look at him.
There he goes again.
Yeah, there he goes again. Like getting close to the TV, you know.
Don't
like,
bother him.
Yeah, don't bother him. And he wouldn't notice because like he was that much into boxing, man. Like he was passionate. He wouldn't care that if anybody was seeing him. He was just always like into
his own world.
In his own world, man. In his
awesome,
own
man.
world, man. Like,
wow, I need to hang out with him.
Yeah, well, he's a little older. Like now,
Right.
yeah, he doesn't watch boxing as much as he used to. He goes to sleep earlier for once, but yeah, that's how I really got into boxing. So as I started getting older, man, I started focusing more on what was on TV than like on himself. So then I started watching the fighters, and I'm like, wow, like these guys, like, man, like these guys have heart.
Skill, technique, and it's something much more different than you thought when you get older and you start seeing.
Exactly. And you know what? I didn't even start noticing the technique. I just started noticing like the heart. Like hard, man.
The beatings these guys take, and they just keep going.
Exactly. Because there's guys out there that are athletic, they're strong, they're fast, but there's guys out there that like just have heart, man. Like, can you take a punch, whatever? So then I started noticing that, and the more I started getting into boxing, the more I started talking to my grandpa, and I started talking to him about the boxing matches and everything. And he was actually pretty knowledgeable. He actually knew like what he was talking about. Like, and now that I kind of like reminisce like on the conversations. Well, I mean, he's still alive, but a lot of the conversations that I had with him like in the past about boxing is like, wow, like he's very, very knowledgeable. But he's the one who ultimately got me into boxing, and honestly, it's like a family thing, man.
Right. I think it's like more like a Hispanic thing.
Is that what it is?
But you know, the black community is real big into boxing too. The Hispanics. When I was growing up, the reason why I got big into boxing is because everybody that I knew was big into boxing. You know, growing up, 7, 8, 9 years old, we would all have these massive barbecues.
Exactly.
And
like, why are
Julio
we partying?
Cesar Chavez, man, or the Mexican hero.
Yeah.
The guy that everybody wanted to watch. Yeah. The guy that, you know, he was 98-0, 90
before he lost like for the first time, right?
I mean, he was on this amazing win streak, and every time he would fight maybe 4 times a year, 5 times a year. Not like these pansy guys that fight twice a year.
Yeah, and even at that, yeah, exactly.
If that,
yeah.
But this guy was fighting 4 or 5 times a year, and every time he would fight, it's an event. And I remember growing up, and people would gather, people that I didn't know, my family would come in.
Like the neighbors.
Oh, the neighbors.
Everybody was into it, right?
And everybody was there, Chavez. And they would wear the bandana, the Chavez bandanas. Yeah. And it was just a part of my life.
Yeah.
Forever. It was a part of my life. But, when you're young, to you, it's just a party. It's just a part of your life. It's the event that's more better. The party.
Yeah,
all
the
your
atmosphere.
Friends are there,
Exactly.
You're going to go out and play tag, and everybody's there. You're happy that all your family's gathered. And there's barbecue, and there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Exactly, man.
But that's a lot of Hispanic people. That's kind of why they're into boxing. It's a part of the culture. I think it comes from like the Aztec days and stuff. The battling, the warriors, and all that shit.
And then like if you look further deep into it, man, like Mexico, like on the world stage, like if you really think about it, there's two main sports in Mexico. You have boxing
soccer.
And you have soccer.
Right.
But if you really think about it, like the most popular sport in Mexico, hands down, is soccer. Like soccer overall, exactly. Right. Like everybody's into soccer. Everybody likes soccer. But when it really comes down to it, man, like who produces more talent on the world stage?
More champions.
Exactly.
Right.
Look,
more
like
belts.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you can't
more
win.
Trophies.
Exactly. Like just more overall wins. Like Mexico has never won a World Cup. So, like, I once heard this saying, man. Like, it was a Spanish saying. I can't remember specifically what it said, but it says something along the lines of soccer is the most popular sport in Mexico, but the most glorious sport in Mexico is boxing.
Right.
Because when you talk about Mexico and when you talk about boxing, you're talking about world class. Mm-hmm. When you talk about Mexico and you talk about soccer, you're like, oh, well, they have a solid team,
Right. Every year we have a chance.
Yeah, we have a chance, but have they ever won the World Cup? Like,
Right.
And when it comes to boxing in Mexico, it's like synonymous with success. I mean, you have like many, like tons and tons of champions. There's a history there. Like you said, like it goes back to like the Aztec warrior days, like when like you don't like to give up, like you fight to the death. I don't know, man. Right. So I think that's why boxing is like such a big thing, and I personally love boxing, man.
Right. So, a lot of people don't know this, but I used to maybe about I don't know, something like 5 years ago, I weighed about 300 pounds.
Holy damn,
dude, I weighed 300 pounds.
Was this like still when you were in Houston or
what? Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you at 300 pounds here, man.
I was almost at 300 pounds.
Wow.
And, I tried dieting. I tried exercising and running and going to the gym and doing the treadmill stuff. And none of that crap worked, man. Honestly, I would go down and up. But one day I decided, I was going to get married, and I was like, man, I got to lose some weight.
Wait, hold on. You decided you were going to get married? Like it just didn't happen? Or what? Like you were like, yeah, you know what? Like it's about time I get married.
I was kind of forced into it. It was a shotgun wedding.
Okay. No, yeah. Hey, make sure your wife doesn't listen to this one, right?
So I decided to get married. I decided to settle. So I was gonna get married, and I was like, damn, I need to lose some weight, man. Like, not only that, but I had a kid,
right?
And I was like, you know what? I need to do something for myself, for my family. This is not healthy,
right?
And I tried, all kinds of diets and stuff. So one day I decided, I was like, you know what? I need to try something different, and it never really clicked to me. Growing up in high school, I played soccer, I played tennis. I lost some weight playing both of those sports in high school.
Tennis?
Yeah, I played a little bit of tennis. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
Okay, that's I don't see tennis that, but okay.
Tennis is super athletic, man. You wouldn't believe it, but if you want to be a top tennis player, you have to be in top
of course,
shape.
Oh, yes, of course.
It's ridiculous.
Any sport. If you want to be at the top level,
right.
Yeah.
So, it never clicked to me to be, to go to a boxing gym or anything like that. Because one, boxing is a hard sport. I mean, you're getting hit. You're getting hit in the face.
Man.
You're getting hit in the ribs. You're getting hit in the kidney.
Man,
and most people do not want to get hit in the face.
Yeah.
Right? It's just not one of those
like
things.
Who's going to be...
Yeah, who the hell is going to stand there and take a punch?
Yeah, exactly.
Most people are it's fight or flight.
It's the hurt business. It's the hurt business.
Exactly. Yeah. So it never really occurred to me to go to a boxing gym. Right. I thought about like karate or something like that, but I was like, nah. So when I really decided to lose weight, it's like, how can I lose the most weight? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, let me try a boxing gym. And so I ended up going to this boxing gym in Houston called Slava Boxing Gym.
Okay.
The owner's like this old school Russian guy, Russian or Ukrainian. He's got a real thick accent. He's a real cool guy.
Fundamentals.
So it was like a warehouse.
Right.
No air conditioning, no heating. They had like these little fans, like little industrial fans.
Okay. All right.
Like a grimy ass place, right? Like we're a true boxer. Something out of a Rocky movie.
Exactly. But those are the places that produce like train, exactly.
So I went online, I found this, I was like, oh, I told my wife and my fiance at the time, was like, hey, there's these boxing classes, this cardio boxing classes that I'm gonna take. Or that they're going to start up, and I'm going to go buy some gloves and I'm going to try it out.
Right.
Because I tried everything else, I tried a little bit of CrossFit. None of that. I mean, that stuff is.
Plus, I mean, like what better than like getting fit and at the same time like learning how to like kick some ass, right?
Right. Well, here's the thing. So when I got there, the first day, I mean, obviously I almost died. Mm-hmm. It was so hot. Houston, the humidity is 100%. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And, I started hitting the bag, and I realized that, man, I'm sweating a ton. I'm tired as hell, and I get to punch shit. I get to punch all this stuff, take out all my aggression.
Right.
And so I fell in love with boxing even more. And I ended up losing about 50 pounds, almost 50 pounds in about 4 and 5 months, something like that. I mean, because boxing is a crazy sport where you're doing total body workout. You're hitting the bag, you're stretching, you're doing sit-ups, you're doing burpees, which is the worst exercise ever invented. Whoever invented that, I hope you're burning in hell. Burpees and lunges and all those things. And I mean, I lost a ton of weight. And my respect level for boxing went up even more. I mean, I was already a boxing fanatic. I would watch all the fights. I would order all the pay-per-view fights. Everybody always knew if there's a boxing match on, go to David's house because he has it. We're doing some barbecue. And I kept the tradition alive from what I knew from my childhood. And so going to the boxing gym and trying to just learn the art of the sweet science, learn how to punch correctly without breaking your wrist and breaking your knuckles.
Oh yeah.
Just technique, footwork, how to stand, how to block, and all that stuff. Just I really got into it, and I ended up losing a lot of weight. I think my profile, my testimonial is still on the website.
Okay, so it's the one where you were like 50 pounds heavier. Is that what you're trying to say, or
no? I had already lost. The weight.
Okay. Okay.
I had already lost the weight,
right.
And so this girl, she was like, "Hey, the owner paid for me to come in and take some pictures of you guys, and can you write a testimonial for the website?"
Okay.
I think my testimonial is still up there, and I have the white.
So you're like on the Hall of Fame for the gym, like that. Your picture up there, like before and after, and
it's on the website, not
okay.
like.
They don't have it at the gym because like gyms sometimes like have like the champions and like.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not a champion.
Oh, okay.
I'm a amateur when it comes to even weight loss because I put on a little weight back from then. But I recommend if you guys are looking to lose weight, go to a boxing gym, man. I tried everything, dude. Nothing really seemed to work consistently.
Yeah, you know what? And to tell you the truth, man, like even just hitting the heavy bag, because I go to the gym every now and then, and my gym has a heavy bag, and I love hitting the heavy bag. And the other time I was having a conversation with my wife, and she was asking me, it's like, oh, like, what are you going to do at the gym today? I was like, oh, I'm going to do cardio. I was like, oh, what are you going to do for cardio? You're going to run? You're going to bike? I was like, no, I'm going to hit the heavy bag.
Right.
I was like, what? Like, you're going to hit the heavy bag? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to hit the heavy bag. I was like, that is some good cardio, exercise, man. Yeah. And my wife loves swimming. And swimming is also...
swimming is probably the best.
Nah. you see,
Well, it's a total body workout.
Yeah, that is where me and my wife differed, man. Because we're like, she was telling me, because my wife is like great at swimming. She like could swim like forever, and I go into a swimming pool and I like do a lap or two, and I'm already like out of air. Well, anyways, I was having this conversation with her, and I was telling her, hey, you know what? Hitting the punching bag is a lot more efficient when it comes to cardio than swimming. Even though I get more tired at swimming, I was like, I feel like hitting the punching bag is more efficient. And because if you think about it, look, you're hitting the punching bag, you're moving your arms, and if you do it correctly, you're moving your feet, you're moving your waist,
you're
like
squatting a little bit, you're dipping, man, dodging.
You said you went to the gym, right? You said you went to the boxing gym. How long would you guys hit the heavy bag for?
For a good 25 minutes, something like that, 30 minutes.
Like nonstop?
Yeah, well, different combinations.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So like left hook, right hook, yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to do this combination. And then at the very end of the class, we would do a burnout.
Oh, okay.
So we'd have a partner.
Right.
The guy somebody holds the bag, and you just go at it as much as you can for like a whole minute. Oh, and after that, you're done.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can. I don't care how in shape you are. I don't care how big you are, how much muscle you have. When you do a burnout and you're just throwing your hands and hitting the bag, you're done.
Perfect example. Look. Not too long. As a matter of fact, it was last year, and there's been talks that it might go now into the octagon, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, man. Exactly, and me and you were on the same page, and I told everybody, and everybody thought I was being ridiculous, right?
Floyd needs to stop.
Exactly.
Stop, bro.
Yes.
Stop lying to people, because you're not gonna go in the octagon. He'll die.
But look. This is the argument that I'm using with a lot of the people that tell me the same thing, that Floyd will die in the. Hey, you know what? That is proof that boxing is one of the toughest sports to compete in. You had a 40-year-old Mayweather versus a 28, 27, 28 maybe.
I think it's 28.
Yeah, McGregor. And the 28-year-old got gassed out, right? And when he's fighting a 40-year,
and he was in top shape.
Exactly. So what does that tell you about the sport? I mean, it's
for all those people out there that thought McGregor had a shot. You should be ashamed of yourself, because Mayweather basically toyed with him.
Yeah, exactly.
He toyed with him. He did whatever he wanted to do with them. He basically gave him a couple rounds to figure him out, just to time him, and then he just teed off on his ass.
Exactly. And that's what, like, a lot of people now are telling me, oh, well, Mayweather's going to go into the MMA. And this is what I tell them. Hey, you remember last year when you guys kept telling me that McGregor was going to go into the boxing ring and he was supposed to beat Mayweather. And honestly, man, how many bets did you make? Go ahead.
I really didn't bet.
No, I bet like 3 guys, man.
I verbally bet, like, for pride. Like, dude, you're a moron. And they were like, what's up, bro? Bet me then. Bet me. I'm like, shut up, dude. Like, I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to take your money, No,
I took people's money, man. I don't care, man. Like, you want to be stupid?
Well, I
like,
did do that one bet for the lunch, remember?
Oh, yeah, with that kid, lunch. Right? Yeah, that's true, right? And you know what? He kept his promise, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he came in the next day and he paid up, so... Well, anyways, that day, I remember, when the fight was announced, I made like 3 bets, and I told my wife, one of my friends wanted to bet me $100. Even my wife bit into the hype of McGregor, man. Exactly.
She's not really into
and she doesn't, she's, I mean, don't get me wrong. Hey, shout out to my wife, because you know what? A lot of the times, she's very understanding. In the sense, and I'm sure your wife is like this too, but when my wife met me, she knew that I love boxing, and she knew that there's times when, like, I'm gonna want to stay in and not go out because there's an important boxing match going on.
But baby, there's a wedding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, you know what?
Canelo's fighting Triple G.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a funeral. I'm sorry. There's a mega event coming up.
Exactly. Well, my wife bit into the hype of McGregor and everything. She didn't really bite into it, but I told her I'm gonna bet this guy $100 on Mayweather McGregor. She's like, no, like, that's too much money. I was like, it's $100 easy money.
We'll spend that at Olive Garden. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, no, I'll do 50. Okay, I'll do 50. And I bet a couple of other guys But
on the side without her.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's like I didn't tell her about those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, I ended up betting a couple of guys because I was positive that Mayweather's gonna win, and I never had a doubt in my head. But a lot of people seem to be saying that McGregor was gonna translate easily into boxing and all of this stuff.
Wrong.
But yeah, wrong. Exactly. So now, what I want to tell those same people, like just how they were as annoying when they were telling me that McGregor was gonna jump into boxing and
actually compete.
So now I'm gonna be the same guy and say that Mayweather is gonna go into the octagon and wreck
and compete.
Conor McGregor. And when they're talking about like, nah, you're psycho, you're stupid, whatever, I'm gonna remind them, hey,
you remember sounded just like that when you were talking to me.
Yeah, exactly, man. Remember when you told me that McGregor was gonna go into the boxing ring and beat out Mayweather? That's exactly how I sound. And yeah, man, it's crazy, man. People out there are crazy. The promotion's crazy, man. So.
Right, boxing is just to me, it's the number one sport. It is the best sport because let me tell you something about boxing. There's no other sport in the world where you can be losing 99%, 99.9%
exactly.
of
yes.
the entire match. And one punch, one swing
exactly.
can win you the match.
Yeah.
Especially with the heavyweight division. I mean, all it takes, you could be bloodied and you could be like a Rocky where you can't see out of any eye and you got, welts coming out of your skull and you got a kidney that doesn't work, and all of a sudden you just muster up that will, muster up the power, and you throw an uppercut or a left hook.
Changes the course of the fight.
It changes the game, and you win. And you can win. The football, that can't happen.
Exactly.
Basketball, that cannot happen.
It can't happen.
Tennis,
it can't happen.
Nothing like that. Swimming, you're behind, you're going to lose.
Exactly, man.
And
exactly.
the time runs out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And boxing is just one of those, that's why you're so glued to the TV, because it doesn't matter if the guy is losing. If you are not focused 100% for 100% of the time, you are going to get caught.
Completely agree, man.
And you're going to get killed. And you're going to lose no matter how good you are, no matter how skilled you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter where you come from, you're going to lose.
Yes. And that's exactly why I love boxing so much. That's exactly why I love it so much. Because look, think about it, man. And don't get me wrong, I like football, I like basketball, I like soccer, but boxing is just one of those sports where you don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah. Like from the moment the bell rings, anything can happen. And boxing is one of those sports that gives me butterflies, man.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't have exactly. Like you don't have nothing in the world like combat sports, man. Yeah. There's nothing in the world like combat sports. From the moment they walk into the ring, you feel it like you're watching like thousands and thousands of miles away from your TV, and you feel the tension when the guy comes in, when the champion comes in, whoever's gonna fight.
The music that they choose.
Exactly. They're staring at each other across the ring. They're mad dogging. It depends, because like if the fight is like really bad blood, they're gonna be mad dogging each other up and down like the entire time.
Oh yeah.
When they go up and the ref like reads the what is it called, the directions or whatever.
Let's get ready to. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, like when he's like, hey, all right, no hits below the belt or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like the tension is there. Exactly,
like, especially if you're really going for somebody that you want to win.
Yeah, and those first moments of the fight are like tense. Especially
it's
like
a chess match, human chess match.
Yes, and that's why it's called the sweet science, man.
Exactly.
That's why it's called the sweet science, man. A lot of people, like, this is what I was talking to my pops. My pops, he likes boxing. My mom likes boxing a lot, but they don't like it. They like it, but they don't like it as much as I do. And what I was telling them the last time, they're used to watching like fights like from Mexican networks and
solo boxeo.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the times,
amateurs that are just coming up, becoming pro.
Exactly. And they go in there and they brawl.
Right.
They brawl straight to brawl, whatever. It's
a very exciting fight.
Exactly. So they're awesome.
They have something to prove.
Exactly. But when you have like two high level fighters like a champion versus a champion, a unification match where you know, like both guys know how to fight. Like the first moments in the fight are like tense because they're like they don't really hit each other, just kind of like trying to read each other.
Especially like in the welterweight division.
Yes, when they're athletic. Yes,
super athletic, super strong. And then the heavyweight division. Those are my two favorite. The welterweight and the heavyweight. Like the super flyweight, those guys are super fast. They're like two cats going at each other, but the power's not there.
Unless you have one of those,
like a Pacquiao.
or something. Pacquiao coming up from what 108 all the way to 147, 154.
154.
He eight-time division champ, right?
The only one to ever do it.
8 division champ. Wow, yeah, that guy's amazing, man.
Yeah. All right, so I know you got to go soon, so let's wrap this up. Last thing, give me your top 5 fighters of all time.
Top 5. You know what? I'm gonna go with current fighters, and I'm not trying to disrespect. I'm not trying to disrespect the older fighters.
No, bro, what's up?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know what? You didn't say Sugar Ray Leonard or something. You know,
you goddamn millennials.
Exactly.
You have no respect.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like respect to all the older fighters, but the reason I'm going with like newer fighters is because like I've seen like 1 or 2 fights maybe from the older fighters, but I mean I've never really seen like that much to be able to
say
exactly. This guy,
right.
You know?
So you're saying the top 5 fighters in your opinion,
exactly from what I've seen,
right.
Exactly. Current or all time?
All time.
All time. Oh man. You're going to have me here sitting down for a while, man.
Just hurry up. Just pop it off.
Okay. Number 1, man, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Julio Cesar
number
Chavez.
2, Oscar de la Hoya. Number 3, Manny Pacquiao. You know what? Let me change it up. It's because I'm just going off the top of my head, man. This is totally unscripted, man. Okay, look. All right. Number 1, Julio Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
Chavez stays at my number 1. Number
senior. Let's not confuse him with his son, who is. I don't even know what to call him. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace.
You know what? I actually like his son. I've seen him fight 2 times live, and
you're a better man than I am. That dude. He started off good. He started off with good intentions. I don't know what happened. He got into drugs and smoking weed and eating cereal and in his underwear, swimming around with supermodels and.
Exactly, and I don't want to go off track like really bad right now, but look, check it out. Hold on, man. Hold on. Look, and that's another reason I really like boxing, and I forgot to mention this, man. Like when you look at these fighters' backgrounds, like I kind of relate to them, man, because like me coming up, man, like. Yeah, like I'm not like like super well off, but I'm okay. You know, I own a house, I'm married, you know, like I pay my bills and stuff. But a lot of these fighters coming up, they come from nothing.
Right. Like Pacquiao, here's one of the greatest stories of all, Manny Pacquiao, from the poorest, one of the poorest provinces in the Philippines, and the Philippines is one of the poorest countries in the world.
Exactly.
So that tells you how dirt poor he was.
Exactly. Or take a look. I know recently you were telling me about Johnny Tapia, man.
Oh,
from Albuquerque.
If you guys never seen the documentary,
check it out.
You gotta watch Tapia on HBO.
Yeah.
Man, I almost started crying when I watched that.
Yeah, that guy has a tremendous story. But I mean, boxing is one of those sports, man, where like it's you and just you. Like you show up to the ring and it's you against the other guy. Right. Like I know football and basketball has a lot of these stories of people coming up from hard backgrounds and everything. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's a team sport. Right. With boxing, you carry each other. Yeah, exactly. You carry each other. You mess up, like somebody else could carry you, you know. With boxing, it's you mess up, like it's you, man. Like it's you in there with the other guy across the ring. And a lot of the sports that is one-on-one, a lot of those sports are like people that are coming from like affluent backgrounds. Like for example, you said you played tennis, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, in high school, I mean.
But I mean, the best. Do you think the best tennis players come from like?
I don't know. I don't really know about tennis. I think it's more,
but it's more of a
like a rich
gentleman's
sport.
club. Yeah, like golf, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So like boxing, I relate to it, man. Like I said, like, I mean, I didn't
It's
have.
It's more of a blue collar sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's why a lot of people like boxing. They like MMA, UFC.
Exactly.
Because they can relate to it. Like, hey, if that guy can do it, so can I. Because that guy grew up he was from my neighborhood. We all grew up together, and now look at him.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather, his dad was in jail, his mom was like a crack addict or something. Mm-hmm. Like, and
a lot of the fighters have the same story.
Exactly, man. And they come from the bottom, and they make it's the American dream. It's
come
the American
from the
dream.
Bottom,
exactly, man. It's the American dream. So it's what everybody likes, and I really like the stories that a lot of these boxers have, man. So that's
all right. So stop going around the damn question. Top 5 boxers of all time in your opinion. So we'll go ahead and do that, because we all know people are always going to say Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, people like that. Right. So we're going to go ahead and allow you to say from what you know, from your generation.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say Julio Cesar Chavez, because a lot of my childhood was watching him. I didn't watch too many of his earlier fights, as I wasn't born, but I watched some of the later ones, so he was definitely a beast. Number 2, this one's a tight one, but I want to say Floyd Money Mayweather. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't
work, dedication.
Exactly, that guy's a gym rat, man. Like you can't fault him for that. The guy stays in the gym, he practices, he works. I mean, he might not be the most entertaining fighter, but guess what? A lot of the people that say, hey, I'm going to go in there and beat his ass, I mean, never go in there and do what they're going to say they're going to do. Number 3, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, that guy's definitely a legend. He's exciting. He's explosive.
He's still fighting.
And
he's keeping up with these young dudes.
Yeah. Apparently they don't want him with apparently they wanted to put him on the undercard of Terrence Crawford though, so I don't know how I feel about
that's that. So disrespectful, man.
I know, right?
Hey, God damn it. ESPN, stop being disrespectful to Manny Pacquiao after everything he's done for the sport. Yeah. Jesus Christ. He is not an undercard fighter. He's the guy that's the main event. Anyway, go ahead.
I have Manny Pacquiao, my number 3, and then number 4. Man, I want to say Juan Manuel Marquez, man. Like this guy, 4th division champ. He came up from the smaller weights. He came up. He beat one of my number 3 pick. Right. And my number 5. It's because there's a lot of guys that are out there that still want to prove stuff. So, I mean, it might change. But my number 5 as of right now, man, I want to say Andre Ward. Andre Ward, yeah, definitely proved himself. SOG, Son of God. He definitely proved himself at the 168. He went
although I think he still lost to Kovalev.
Did you see that second fight? Yeah.
Okay, but we're talking about the first fight.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Everybody knows. Everybody watched. He got dropped and everything.
Yeah, and then he outboxed Kovalev the entire fight after that. Justin.
He lost.
I don't know. All right, so that's for another day. But I mean, he came back. He beat the Boogeyman at 175. He challenged himself, and there's talks that he wants to go up to heavyweight. So we'll see how he does there. But so that's my top 5. Who are your top 5?
I'm gonna have to say my number 1 fighter of all time in my generation has to be, and I don't know why you didn't mention him, Roy Jones Jr.
Oh yeah,
Roy Jones Jr. is the greatest boxer to ever have lived.
In case you forgot.
Y'all must have forgot.
I mean,
the guy.
I didn't see him fight too much.
Listen, look, Max Kellerman, who is the HBO commentator, who now he does, what was that, First Take or something like that with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, right.
Max Kellerman put it the best. It is the best description I've ever heard in my life. When Roy Jones Jr. was fighting, right, no one ever had a doubt that he would ever lose any match that he was ever fighting in. Nobody would say, well, I don't know, the other guy has a puncher's chance or whatever. No. Like when you take Chavez Sr. or Mayweather or Pacquiao, there was always people that would say, well, there's a chance they could lose, right? There was always money on the other side. When Roy Jones Jr. was fighting, there was never any money on the other side. No one would ever bet against Roy Jones Jr.
Okay.
And that makes him the greatest fighter to ever have lived. Even Muhammad Ali, at the end of his career when he was fighting, people had doubts. Like, oh, he could get dropped by, this guy is a big puncher. But Roy Jones Jr., he was incredible. His reflexes were like a mongoose. He could stand in the middle of the ring and you wouldn't hit him, right? And
in his prime.
In his prime. And obviously, he got older. His reflexes left him.
Exactly. And then that's why I don't put him in my top 5, man.
Well,
Exactly. Because look,
Roy Jones Jr. is a legend.
Let me give you a little argument right there, man. Your number one is Roy Jones, right? And in his prime, the guy was an athlete for sure.
From hell,
whatever, man. But he wasn't technically sound.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see, take a look at somebody like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, man, he's in his 40s. He's still beating up guys that are like in their 20s, man. Like, he's still...
but obviously they're not on his level, though.
No, but you know what the difference is? Well, in my opinion, Roy Jones was an athlete. And he relied on his athleticism.
Super athlete.
Yeah, like on his reflexes, his speed, and everything to become the boxer that he became.
But he was knocking guys out.
Yeah, exactly.
He had in order
power,
to knock somebody out,
but that's natural.
Skill.
That's natural.
You gotta have skill, though.
But to an extent, yeah,
skill.
sure, yeah. But when you look at somebody like Floyd Mayweather, man, like the guy is 40, he doesn't have the reflexes but you know what he has? He has a brain, man,
right.
And he has a technique and he has a mechanics. He's a fundamentally sound fighter. Now, what happened when Roy Jones started slowing down? You saw what happened.
He got knocked
he started
out.
knocking. Yeah, exactly, man.
But there was nobody
in his prime.
Yes. There was nobody like Roy Jones
I agree
Jr.
with that, yeah.
And nobody created the excitement that he created except for Chavez Sr., which is my number 2 fighter of all time.
Okay.
Chavez Sr., I still remember the chants. Chavez.
When he fought, what was that guy that he knocked down in the 12th round?
Meldrick Taylor. That changed
his career. Yeah.
It ruined Taylor's career. It ruined Meldrick Taylor's career.
Yeah.
He was like brain dead after that.
Yeah, like they fought a second time. And, after the fight, the guy was peeing blood.
It was bad.
That was crazy. Yeah.
So it ruined Meldrick Taylor's career, and it elevated Chavez Sr. into what he became.
Yeah, to a legend.
To a legend, exactly. Yeah. So I got Roy Jones Jr., Chavez Sr., then I have Manny Pacquiao, who is an 8-division world champion, never been done before.
Great story.
The greatest story in sports history. You come from basically the poorest part in the entire world, besides somewhere like in Africa or something, to become this legend, right? And he had power in both hands.
Right.
This dude was
charismatic.
Oh, charismatic.
Always smiling after the fight. It's like he was always smiling.
And he had the greatest song.
Oscar De La Hoya, man. That's Oscar De La Hoya too, man.
Well, look what he did to Oscar. He embarrassed Oscar.
Yeah, well, off of his
Oscar was on his way out.
Yeah, on his way out.
Yeah, so, so I got Roy Jones Jr., Chavez Sr.,
Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is my 4th. You gotta have it.
Yeah, you gotta have him.
Moron
if you don't have him,
and I'm a big Floyd Mayweather Jr. hater, or I was a big hater. I didn't like. I thought he was cherry picking his opponents.
Right? Huh? Until he fought McGregor, right?
Yeah. Well,
boxing versus MMA.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
Had to
I had to become a Mayweather fan, but I was never a fan of him.
Right.
But I was always a big fan of his skill, of his stamina, of his boxing IQ, of his ring generalship, right? And you gotta have him in there. If you don't, you're just a hater. If you don't, you're a big time hater. Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about. Here's the thing:
people are gonna argue that you're a hater because you have him at number 4, man.
You know what? Those people can kiss my ass. The thing is, Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather go together. You can't have one without the other because they were in the sport at the same time. And Manny Pacquiao, to me, single-handedly saved the sport of boxing. Manny Pacquiao, when he was rising up, Mayweather was kind of already big, but nobody liked his style. Nobody wanted to watch his fights. They wanted to watch him lose because he was this flamboyant, burning money in the club kind of guy. It's like, what the hell is this? Who the hell is this guy? Why is he doing that? He would come out, people would be lifting him up like a Roman warrior and stuff like that. Remember?
Right, yeah.
Not as bad as Prince Nassim.
Prince Nassim was
which is another
Prince
story.
Nassim
man.
was a
Jesus.
character. I love Prince Nassim.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, but he'll never be forgotten because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what made him.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what am I on?
Yeah, you're fourth. Yeah,
Fourth.
Floyd
So
Mayweather.
My fifth has to be Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya.
It had the Golden Boy.
Yeah, the Golden Boy.
Right?
Yeah.
Because to me, Oscar De La Hoya had the greatest, sweetest jab in boxing
history. It was a piston jab.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You couldn't get to him because of his jab.
Yeah.
And it was automatic. Bam, bam. It was
the guy won gold medal.
He won a gold medal.
Spain Olympics, right?
He was, look, here's the thing. Oscar De La Hoya fought everybody.
Yes.
Everybody. He was not a cherry picker. Everybody that said, "Oh, Oscar this," he's like, "What? What? Put the gloves on. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't care.
Man.
You get the money. You get however you want. You just set the fight up. Tell your promoter to sign the
I love Oscar De La Hoya.
Let's do this.
And I know he gets a lot of hate because the whole fishnet stuff and stuff like that. But the guy, honestly, I bet you wouldn't tell them that to his face, right?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
Even today, he'd beat your ass.
Yeah, he beat your ass.
I mean, how old is he? 40?
Yeah, he's like 40 plus. Yeah, man.
Something like that.
The guy's a legend.
The guy would beat everybody's ass.
Yeah.
That's
not a boxer. Yeah, that likes to talk. Yeah.
I mean, so there you go. Those are my top 5. And we are running out of time.
Hold on. One last question. One last question. Who is your favorite boxer?
Favorite boxer?
Yeah, right now.
Manny Pacquiao. It's Manny Pacquiao.
No, right now.
Oh, right now.
Manny Pacquiao's still fighting.
He's an exception. Favorite boxer current?
Yes.
Vasyl Lomachenko.
Vasyl
Lomachenko is that dude.
Yeah.
They don't call him the Matrix for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, if you've never seen Vasyl Lomachenko, go to YouTube, check his highlights out. He's almost alien, dude.
Yeah.
We've never seen
high
anything
tech.
like it.
The Matrix. They call him the Matrix, right?
Or another nickname, the high tech.
Yeah.
The dude is insane. I mean, we've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Just like when Manny Pacquiao came out, nobody had ever seen anything like that. And now Lomachenko is the new Manny Pacquiao. He's the new Muhammad Ali. And he's four or five fights
that makes his opponents quit, or
the opponents quit on their stool in the corner. When in history has that ever happened? I mean, these are top level fighters. Now, there's debate about he was bigger than them and everything, but I don't care. It's a boxing match. We're talking about heart and everything.
Yeah, we've seen smaller guys beat up bigger guys before.
Exactly. Pacquiao's a perfect example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And those guys didn't quit. They just got beat up, So who's your favorite fighter right now?
My favorite fighter right now, man. I watch a lot of boxing. I have a lot of favorite fighters.
Get to the goddamn point.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. One fighter that I won't miss, and I'm sure a lot of people don't like him. He's a hate it or love it character. I like Canelo. I'm
a Canelo supporter.
Yeah, I like Canelo, man. The guy is fundamentally sound. I mean, you have this whole controversy with him using clenbuterol. What was it called? The tainted meat and stuff. Something like that. But
whatever the hell, tainted. He blamed it on tainted meat.
Yeah, and that kind of lowered his stock a little bit. But I mean, I like Canelo. I mean, I won't from now on. I had never have, as far as I can remember, missed one of his fights. He's fundamentally sound. He's in for a great fight come Cinco de Mayo. But I would say he's my favorite fighter. I have other ones though, but I mean that's for another.
Yeah, save your prediction.
We'll save that.
Save your prediction for when we do the Triple G Canelo podcast.
All right.
Because we're gonna dedicate a whole podcast to that because that is what we call a mega fight.
Okay,
right?
sounds good.
I mean that has to be by itself.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Raymond. So appreciate you being on here again. Or not again, but you will be on here again. So everybody stay tuned for more of the Sweet Advice Podcast boxing edition. We'll also be having sports editions. We're going to be talking about maybe a little bit of March Madness. NBA Finals.
March Madness. Look, this is my thing on March Madness. As long as nobody else from Texas wins the NCAA tournament, I'm good.
Did you see what happened to Houston? My team?
They're out. So
Did
I'm
you
good.
see how they lost?
No, they lost by a point,
man.
right?
I almost lost it. They were winning, and Michigan hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer to win the damn game, man.
But
that hurts.
For people that don't know, really fast, man, before you cut this out, UTEP is actually the only school in Texas to hold an NCAA
here we go again.
championship. So I know A&M is still in there, and I know I don't know, but
I think A&M's the last Texas school to be
Tech or something.
Texas. Oh no, I think they lost. Texas Tech.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, no Texas teams.
Yeah, I guess. All right, so guys, stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this, and there's gonna be much more boxing coming your way, much more sports, and we're gonna have betting odds, betting lines. We're gonna explain all that to you. Who's the favorite? Who we think is gonna win these boxing matches, these sporting events. So stay tuned. All right, check you guys later.